Guys, I put together a big, long compilation video of my best Thanksgiving recipes. I did this with my master class, and I put a bunch of videos that I made together to help you become a master at, the Ninja Woodfire Grill. And I'll throw a link for it up there if you want to check it out. But y'all, I thought this would be a great idea to do for the holidays, right? So we got Thanksgiving coming up, and I wanted to show you a few recipes all in one spot for your Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas or whatever you're celebrating, right? Right. So I'll break it down in chapters down in the video description, okay? I'll try to put links to each of the videos too. So if you want to go to the individual video for whatever reason, you check it out. Some of the products I use, like my ThermoPro 10 spikes or the Smokin Pecan Pellets or any of that stuff, links will be down for those too. I also did a Ninja Woodfire Grill Holiday E-Cookbook. So I'll put a link for that down below in the video description, along with my bundle for the Ninja Woodfire cookbooks. Okay, so there's 4 other e-cookbooks. All right, so if you guys want to check them out, I suggest you do. They've been really well received, but you could also watch this whole video too. The sections in this video, so we have a whole turkey recipe, how to set up that turkey is a separate video on there. Not necessarily on the wood fire, but it breaks down how I set up my turkeys and doing the dry brining or the buttering and all that, the seasoning, spatchcocking, all that stuff. So that's a video in there. Just the full turkey breast videos on there, right? We got smothered turkey wings from the Woodfire Grill. I got my notes down here. We got a spiral ham, a Carver ham, 2 different recipes, sweet potato pecan pie, right? And then I have 2 vertical videos that I shot for my Facebook and other channels. My mashed potato recipe, which you're definitely gonna want to make. It's not a smoked mashed potato. It's just how I make my mashed potatoes. And then leftover turkey sliders. That's definitely something you could do in your wood-fire grill. But I did it in the oven. But I had all those leftovers that I used and I made sliders with it. So everybody loves a good slider, and this is what I did for them. Okay, so 2 bonus ones at the end there. But other than that, guys, do me a favor, comment down below what you think of these compilation videos. Let me know if you want me to put some more together for like Christmas coming up or anything like that. Oh, one video I did sneak in there was a ribeye roast and baked potatoes. It was one video put together, and it was one of the first few that I did. But it showed you how I did my whole ribeye roast in there. So you might want to check that one out too. Not necessarily a Thanksgiving kind of dish, but I know people get tired of doing turkey, so I threw in the roast in there too. All right. I think that takes care of everything. Like I said, comment down below. Let me know what you think of these compilation videos. I know it's a little bit longer, but the last one I did, 50% watched it on the TV. So yeah, comment down below and tell me how you're watching these videos too. Yeah, it'd be interesting for me to find out. Okay, on to the show. Guys, we're smoking a whole turkey on our Ninja Woodfire Grill today. I'm gonna have you prepared for the best turkey you've ever had. Your family's gonna love it. They're gonna want you to make it all the time, not just for Thanksgiving. All right, so that might be a bold statement, but people like turkey in other times of the year. It's not just a Thanksgiving thing. So guys, what did we do to get to this point? We already set up the bird yesterday. Basically a simple spatchcock bird, right? We took out the backbone, and I've shown you that on this channel before, but I actually did a separate video on how to spatchcock it, put the compound butter in, dry brine it, all that stuff. So I'll put a link for that right up there, so you can check that out. I'll run through it really quickly for you, but if you really want more in-depth, check out that video, okay? And then come back and finish it with this one. So we got it spatchcocked, cleaned it all up. We made a little compound butter. So we got some rosemary, some thyme, some sage, and then we used a little barbecue seasoning in there. This is Uncle Steve's competition bird shake. We're making a bird, might as well use it, right? Right. So we put a little of that in the compound butter, mixed it all up, made sure it was ready to roll. And then we started stuffing the butter underneath the skin. So we used our fingers, got in there, separated the skin from the meat on the breast, on the thighs, and the legs, all that stuff. Started stuffing that butter in there, right? Got it nice and full. So about 2 sticks worth of butter, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. And then we set it up for dry brine. Okay, and that's simply sprinkling the bird with kosher salt all over the skin, back side, front side. And then we put it in the fridge overnight, uncovered. So it got some of that cold air circulating on it. Let that salt absorb in, pull out some of that moisture, but bring back some of that flavor. So this bird is gonna be ready to roll. Let's go ahead and get down here. We'll go ahead and get the rub on. We're gonna spray it down with a little avocado oil. It's kind of like a binder for this, for the rub. But pretty simple so far. And I'm using a pretty light grind seasoning here. With that wood fire, you're getting tons of heat from the top. So you wanna make sure that you don't have a really heavy duty rub on there that's gonna like burn. So we're just gonna do a light dusting. We got plenty of flavors going on. Get our birdie seasoned up, what do you say? Get a little of this, well, I'm gonna flip this over quickly, because we wanna season the inside. The other thing is we want to bend these wing tips back so they don't burn. I'm going to remove this glove so I don't contaminate everything else. And we're going to give it a quick spray down of the avocado oil. We'll go in with our barbecue rub. Not going too heavy, just adding the flavor. It's going to have a beautiful color, obviously great taste, otherwise I wouldn't use it. Let's see if I can do this gracefully, one-handed. Now we'll get the other side. Oh shit, forgot to spray it down. Now we'll go down with it, get that seasoning on. Just a light dusting. We ain't get too crazy over here. All right. There's plenty of flavors going on in that bird that we don't need to get crazy. Beautiful. Dig it. Twin temp spike plus thermometers in there. These are the Bluetooth thermometers. You know I use my temp spikes all the time, but we want to make sure that we're cooking to the right temperatures on these. So we'll have one in the leg, we'll have one in the breast. We'll keep track of the temps as we go with our app that comes along with it. It's 500 feet of range, so we're good to go. Coming and going here. We'll set the app to the normal poultry setting, but I'm gonna be keeping track of it. So when it gets to about 160 or so, I'm gonna pull the bird off the wood fire and we're gonna let it rest. Always let the turkeys rest when you get them either out of the oven, off the smoker, off the grill, whatever you're doing. You gotta let them rest for 20 minutes at least. Let all those juices reabsorb, all those muscle fibers kind of chill out. Because otherwise, if you cut into that bird right off the smoker, the juices would go everywhere. You end up with some dry birdie. We're gonna set this up on the smoker setting at 350. I go hot and fast with my birds because I want that skin to get a little crispy on top, and this works out a little bit better for me. Low and slow, you end up with rubbery skin. No one wants that, okay? So 350, and I'll put the Celsius right here. Let's see if I can line it up right. Guys, this is your key to a perfect turkey. This turkey is right between 11 and 12 pounds. This is gonna fit on my Woodfire XL. You have the regular Woodfire, I drop it down, try to find like a 9-pound turkey, or you may have to do a little Tetrising and surgery on it to get it to fit if you got a bigger bird. We're gonna be using our Smokin pecan pellets on this cook because they're the best pellets out there, made from pecan shells, right? So they burn cleaner, they burn longer, and we need a little extra smoke on this bad boy, right? We want a nice smoky turkey. Let's get outside, get that wood fire set up, get that birdie on. Let's go. All right, team, we're out here. We got the grill plate on there. If you got a little roasting rack or whatever you want to put on there, you can, but I'm just rolling with that. Hitting the power button, smoker mode. We're going to 350. Right, time should only take less than 2 hours, but I'm gonna put 3 hours just in case. Come on, you can do it. There we go. All right, so 350, 3 hours. It will not take 3 hours, so don't take that as gospel. It's just in case, okay? Hit start, let it go through the ignition process, and that's it. We'll see you in a sec. All right, y'all, smoke is rolling. Time to get the birdie on. Give me a second and I'll get it on there. That way I'm not like reaching in front of the camera, huffing and puffing, trying to make this thing fit. We have the birdie on. I moved the probes just so it doesn't mess with the top here. You can see there were some points that was hidden when I was trying to shut this thing. So we had to do a little surgery. I took off the little knuckles on the drumsticks. We kind of tucked them underneath the thighs. Sometimes you gotta surgery it a little bit to make it fit, but I think we got there, right? Proof is in the pudding. Can we shut the lid? We can shut the lid. So we are styling and profiling. We're gonna pull this at 160 in the breast, and we'll take it inside, let it rest. And okay, our breast is up to temp right now. It is temping out at 162. Look at that bird. Woo! That is looking luscious. Ooh my. The flavors on that bad boy. The color. Ooh, you know you want one. All right, so we got our little cutting board over on the side here. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy off. We're gonna let the bird rest for about 20 minutes, then we'll chop into it when we're back in the studio. Got the bird, we let it rest for about 15, 20 minutes. It's looking good, looking real good. I'm gonna take the mic closer. Got that crispy skin. So when you spatchcock a bird, cutting it, trimming it, whatever, is really simple, especially you've taken out the backbone already. So it's easy just to cut those legs and thigh pieces off. Now you got your bat wing turkey here. And my easiest way is taking your knife and just guiding it down the breastbone and then kind of circling it around. And then come in from this side. You guys can see the board is just covered in juices, right? And you got a nice, perfect piece of breast right there. And I'll just take it and slice down. You got your beautiful slices against the grain. The nice tender pieces of turkey. And it'll look fancy when you put it on a platter or whatever. I'm gonna bring it a little closer. You can see how juicy that is. The knife is covered in juices. The cutting board's covered in juice. I don't like to squeeze the meat. You know, all you're doing is squeezing out that juice, but you know it's gonna be full of flavor. Tender as can be. Loving it. You can see underneath the skin, you got those herbs. I'm gonna finish carving this up. We'll take a bite. All right, we're all carved up. Got the legs, thighs separated, or wings up top. That beautiful breastises right there. Time to take a bite. Y'all, the turkey is done. I mean, you can see the juice is dripping, baby. This is a thing of beauty, perfectly cooked. And I know that without even tasting it, okay? But I'm gonna taste it. I do it because I love you. We're talking turkey today, and I'm gonna show you how not to f it up. Y'all, I'm gonna show you how to set up your turkey for success, whether you're doing it in the oven, whether you're doing the smoker, on the grill, whatever. First thing you gotta do is set it up, dry brine it, give it all the love it needs, and that's the start of this video and the end of it. I'm gonna show you how to get this bird spatchcocked. I'm gonna show you how to make a compound butter with a bunch of herbs and some good barbecue seasoning in there. I'm gonna show you how to put that compound butter in said bird underneath the skin, right? And then I'm gonna show you how we salt it up. Well, we're gonna put it in the refrigerator uncovered overnight, and that's called dry brining. And I feel like that's an oxymoron every time I say it, because brining is the actual putting it in a brining liquid. Dry brining is actually pulling moisture out of it. So it's that conundrum I deal with every year, but I always dry brine. Anybody asks me whether which way I prefer, using a traditional brine or dry brine, dry brining is the way for me every single freaking time. It may work out for you, but for me, dry brining gets all the flavor in there, and it gives us a nice crispy skin when we get it on that smoker. So this video is just about setting up your bird for success. The next video will be cooking the bird, and more than likely it'll be done in my Ninja Woodfire Grill. So I'll put a link for that video up there. When it's out, you can check on it, see how we finish up this bird, but I think we need to get started. Before we start getting into this bird, I want to go ahead and make that compound butter for it. So right about now, I got about a pound of that Kerrygold butter that I let soften and get almost melty. Now we need to chop up the herbs to put in there. So come on down here and let's get that going. So we got some rosemary, some thyme, a little bit of sage. So I'm gonna go ahead and give all this stuff a nice rough chop. Get it pretty finely chopped. So if you have like a food processor or a mill you want to use, go for it. So that went ahead and started those. I'm gonna peel some of this rosemary off, get that in there. We're just looking for a few healthy sprigs worth. And the same with the thyme. Take a top of the sprig here. Just use your Use your thumbs to pull them back. Just give them a rough chop. They're going in the butter together. So we got our sage, rosemary, and thyme. Just give it a good chop. Wow, that's looking about right there. Got our softened butter here. Go in with your herbs. Nice and finely chopped up. Since we're smoking this, I'm going to use some Comp Bird Shake. Okay, this is going to be great in this compound butter. And I'll put a link down below for Uncle Steve's Comp Bird Shake. And we're going with the healthy tablespoon of it. And this is going to add such great color to the meat too. And all we're doing is just giving it a stir. Get it nice and incorporated. And then while we're prepping the bird, it'll have time to kind of sit. Get all those flavors kind of marrying together. Get to know each other in there. And they'll be ready. That's the goodness we're looking for. We got the bird here. Already, took it out of the package, dried it off a bit. Now we're gonna do the spatchcocking. Okay, I know we've done it before on the channel, and I'm sure you've seen it, or probably done it before. But basically, we're just taking out the backbone. Now, the first thing I like to do is get a nice sharp knife and just start kind of tracing my way down the backbone where I'm gonna wanna do the cuts with my kitchen shears, or poultry shears, I guess you'd call it. Having a little, guiding line like this helps out. You could probably get it started, get those rib cage bones cut. Okay. Now it's time to bust out these poultry shears. These guys are pretty dang sharp. Be careful. And if you don't have poultry shears, I'll put a link down below, but you can see how it's going through that pretty easily. Towards the back here where like your thigh is, there's a big bone right there where you're gonna have to really force it and push through. So again, just another time to be careful. Might have to kind of get a little leverage in there. But this is where having a good pair of shears, poultry scissors here, really make a difference. So you can get through those tough spots. There we go. Sometimes you just got to use that good old brute force, you know what I'm saying? Cut that off. Now y'all keep this for stock if you want. I know a lot of people say I'm gonna use it for stock and they don't. It's like when they trim a brisket and yeah, we're gonna keep this for tallow. No, you're not. You're gonna throw all that fat away. The next thing is take our really sharp knife and just go right in the middle of this breastplate and give it a little nick. All right, makes it a little easier when you turn it over. Flip that bird over, right? And you're just gonna give it a little CPR. Crack that bird, crack that breastbone in half. All right, there's your beautiful spatchcocked turkey. Now let's get this thing doctored up. Now is the time we get to have a little fun. We're gonna get in there with our fingers and just kind of split the skin away from the actual meat. So you can see how my fingers are in there. All right, and just work it all the way down. There's a little membrane in there you kind of got to poke through. You don't want to rip that skin. Obviously be careful about that, but you can see the meat going in there. Again, on this side, you can see my fingers where it's pushing through the skin. You just want to loosen all of that up before you even start worrying about the compound butter or anything like that. And I go pretty far down. I don't want it to go all the way because I don't want it to kind of leak out of the bottom. But you want to have a pretty healthy pocket in there. And if anybody wonders, this is about a 12-pound bird. And then the same thing over here with the thigh. You just want to find a little spot where you can kind of push through the membrane, and it'll lead you into the leg, right, where you can shove all that good compound butter in there. You see how I got it going right here? All right, so we got nice pockets there. Let's get this last one over here on this thigh. Tore a little of the meat. Oh, well. Yeah, just be careful of that. Start pulling back on that skin on the legs. Make a nice pocket. Okay, now's the down and dirty spot. We got our beautiful butter to use. And there's really no clean way of doing this, guys. You're gonna get a little dirty. That's why I choose to use these gloves. We just take that butter and shove it all the way down. Use your offhand to kind of smush it down a little bit. Come in with the breast. Kind of do little bits at a time. And that way, if you need to throw some more in there, you can. And it's an interesting, fun time here. You're playing with some kind of slimy stuff here. And some's gonna get on your board. It's not a big deal. Get a little bit more over here on this thigh. Put another little glob in the breast. And this stuff right here is gonna make the best gravy mix when it starts kind of rendering out of there and flavoring your birds. Don't worry so much about putting stuff in the wings. It's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it. Time to transfer our bird to a wire rack. Now, you guys, if you don't use this, use like a cookie, like a cooling rack over a cookie sheet. But yeah, something like this, it's the most beneficial. Okay. Hopefully you get like a bigger one than I have right here. But this will do the trick for now. Having this on a rack like this allows air to get underneath, right? And of course over. So when you put this in the fridge, it starts pulling out all that moisture. Obviously has a place to go. So we're gonna get a little kosher salt on there. This is what the dry brine is all about. It's putting salt on your bird. It pulls out moisture, and then it pulls back in the flavor of the salt. And then as it's doing that, all that butter, all those herbs, the seasonings in the compound butter will start absorbing in there too. So this is how you get like a foolproof, juicy, flavorful bird. So we're gonna go in with just a light coating all the way through, right? Nothing crazy. Just get it on. Give a little patty pat. All right, all salted up. Birdie's ready to go in the refrigerator. This is the part where we wait. So for me, it'll be 24 hours. For you, it'll be a second, maybe two. So stick around. But guys, I'm telling you, this is the way to go. All right. Hear me now, believe me later. So let's get this in the fridge, and I'll see you tomorrow. Well, like I said, in a couple seconds. So there it stays. We'll see you in 24 hours. Y'all, it's the next day. We got our beautiful birdie out of the refrigerator. Now, taking a look at it, you can see that skin tightened up a bit in there. The air hit it with that salt absorbed. There's a little bit of moisture on top too. So we've pulled out some of that moisture, added some of that flavor in there, especially with that nice compound butter underneath. One thing I didn't show you when we were putting the salt on it was salting the other side. Make sure you get both sides of your bird when you're adding that kosher salt to it. I totally forgot to mention that, but here we are. So basically we are done. We need to set this up for the smoker. This is, we'll call it part one to the video. A couple other hacks that I want you to kind of pay attention to is get yourself one of these thermometers. Now this is a twin temp spike by ThermoPro. It's a Bluetooth wireless thermometer. You stick it in the breast, you stick one in the leg or the thigh, so you get those internal temperatures you want. For the holidays, they got some special going on right now where you buy one of these, get one free. So I'll have a link down below to the ThermoPro. Check it out. You get one for yourself, get one, give it away to someone on your family that likes grilling or roasting or smoking or whatever. So it's a hell of a deal, for real. The next hack I want to share with you is the internal temperature you want to cook it to. Now with the thigh and the leg meat, it can go over that 165, so don't stress about that. But for the breast meat, my biggest thing for you is pull it when it hits like 157 to 160, okay, in that area. And then when you pull it out and let it rest, because you're gonna let your bird rest for at least 20 minutes or so, that carryover temperature will take it to that 165 where you want to be. So you let it rest, let that carryover take it where it needs to be, and then you'll have a perfectly juicy turkey every time. Guys, we're gonna be smoking a beautiful, lovely, tasty, plump, juicy turkey breast today. We're gonna do it on our Woodfire XL, but this can be done on whatever Woodfire you have, okay? Guys, this is such a simple thing to do, but it's easy to mess up. All right, because you're not cooking to internal temperatures. That's why you got a dry breast. We don't want that. So I'm gonna tell you what to do, how to get there, and you're gonna be wonderful, okay? First thing we gotta do is get this breast out of the package. All right, now this one is a full breast off of a turkey, probably a little smaller turkey. This one is only, it looks like it's about 6-7 pounds, not very big. And then it has the full backbone on there, full back in there, not necessarily just the backbone, but the full back. All right, so what we're gonna do is take a knife, a real sharp knife, slice along the sides of the back, right? And then we're gonna take some kitchen shears and just cut off them rib bones. And then, you know, you may have to kind of finagle it and move it around a little bit, use your knife, cut along the joints of the backbone and the breastbones, but you'll just search your way through it. Be careful, obviously, using a knife, but you'll find your way through it. So cut that backbone off if your turkey breast has a back on there. And then we're gonna give it a slit down that breastbone on the inside and kind of press it a little flat. It's basically treating like we're spatchcocking it. It's not necessarily that I'm worried about the height, but I like it a little bit flatter so it cooks a little evener, more evener. You know what I get. Even. Right? We want it cooked all the way through, right? So next thing we gotta do is flavor this bad boy. Now I'm a big lover of that Tony Chachere's, the Tony C's injectable butter. I use that stuff pretty liberally in there. So you take the syringe, try to find 1 or 2 points of entry as I, use that syringe, and then just move the syringe back and forth in there, and then press a little as I go. Maybe back it out a little bit, press a little bit more on the plunger, back it out a little bit, press a little bit more. So you're spreading that Creole butter all the way through that turkey breast. Now, the other thing I do is start separating the skin from the breast meat, and then I'll pour some of that Tony Chachere's in there too. So you're coating the outside, you're getting the inside. I'll pour it over the skin too, and that's just gonna, impart flavor, help cook that skin a little bit. I am not using this for anything other than like sandwich meat, all right, on this breast. So I'm not so worried about the presentation of the skin or anything like that. Obviously, we're gonna cook it, we'll use it, we'll eat it, it's gonna be great, but I'm gonna be slicing this breast for like sandwiches, okay? And that's, a lot of the reason why I do this. So I wanna make sure we got max flavor on that meat, okay? On that, that breast meat. And we're gonna get it nice and juicy, okay? And then of course, you dust the outside of the bird with your seasoning. And then since we're going off that Creole theme, Cajun theme, whatever, I got some of my guy, Uncle Steve's Texas Cajun. And use that. We'll put a little in between the skin and the breast meat too. And then we'll cover the outside with it, undercarriage the whole bit, cover the skin with it. It's gonna look great. You're gonna dig it. Tons and tons of flavor. When you're doing this, I suggest you use that injectable butter, but you can use whatever kind of barbecue rub you enjoy. If you want a more traditional salt, pepper, garlic, whatever, that's fine. But I like a little flavor on it, especially since like I said, it's gonna be used for sandwiches. Turkey breast isn't terribly flavorful anyway, so you want to impart as much flavor as possible. Last thing, we're gonna get our twin 10 spikes in there so we can monitor both breasts and make sure they're cooking evenly, not gonna dry out. We're going to cook these breasts to about 155, okay? Now, I know FDA guidelines say 165, but what we're gonna do is once we hit that 155, we're gonna wrap it in tin foil and let it rest. We're gonna let it rest with a little bit of butter in there too. Just let all the juices kind of chill out in there, get running back through the breast. You try to cut it right off when you pull it out. Every bit of the juice will run out and you will have some dry ass turkey. So we're gonna wrap it up. I'm actually gonna wrap it upside down so the breast is, on the bottom of the wrap. Wrap it up tight, let it rest for about a half hour, let that butter absorb, let all the juices absorb. This is the way we're gonna have a nice, juicy turkey breast. Hello, welcome to Thanksgiving. How you doing? Use our mode to go to smoker. I'm gonna take it to 375. There we go. I have 2 hours defaulted there. We'll leave it. It's not going to take more than 2 hours. That's why we're cooking internal temperatures. I'll say how long it took at the end so we know, but 2 hours is fine. Got the wood fire flavor already set up because it's on the smoker setting. Hit start, let it go through the ignition process. Smoke is rolling. And get this breast on. Nothing left to do, just give it smoke. Let it take some time. Good to go. Guys, we're about a half hour in. I went ahead and came out, checked on it. I grabbed a little bit more of that Tony's. I just poured a little over the top. We still got plenty of time in the cook. They're temping out about 80 degrees in the breast right now. A little bit more, a little bit less than one side or the other. So we're just giving this little brush on to help keeping it moist on the outside and just still imparting flavor, okay? So this is all about getting flavors going. It's like basting your turkey in the oven, no big deal. The rub had already cooked onto the skin, so I wasn't too worried about brushing that rub off. But now we're just adding a little bit more flavor in there. And when we wrap this up to let it rest, we'll put a little bit more of that Tony Chachere's butter in there, right? and just get it moist. Keep it moist. Moist. I hate that word. All right, y'all, we're an hour in. Temping out at 155. Gonna go ahead and pull this bad boy off. I showed you the bird. It's temping out at 155 right now. Now we're gonna wrap it up with some of that, a little bit more of that Tony Chachere's and some foil. Let it rest for 30 minutes, chill out, let all those juices kind of reabsorb in there, everything calm down a little bit, then we'll slice into it, okay? So let's get it wrapped up. Get our bad boy bird off of here. And I know people are gonna say, you know, you're gonna make the skin wet or moist or whatever you wanna call it. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm seriously, I want the juicy breast meat. I'm not necessarily worried about the skin itself and having crispy skin or anything like that. If you were that worried about it, then keep it right side up, and then lightly foil the top if you want. But I want to get this, I want to keep it moist in the breast. Like I said, we're using this for sandwich meat. I'm not worried about the skin at all. Okay, so let's get this wrapped up and we'll let it rest. And I'll see you in 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. I can't wait any longer, but I tell you what, if you let this go for an hour, even maybe an hour and a half, you'd be fine, okay? I want to start chopping in this thing. I got my cutting board out here with the grooves around it because I know the juice is gonna be loose. My Thermopro twin temp spikes kept the temps going. I left them in there while I was resting, and you can see that it came up to temperature. We got 165 and 167 in there. Perfect, all right? Just like I preach it in all my videos. Cook to internal temperatures. That said, this took about an hour to cook at 375, give or take. I let it rest for a half hour. So all told, you can do all this within a couple hours. That's prep, that's cooked, that's rest, okay? So if you're looking 6, 7, 8 pound turkey breast, right, bone in, about 2 hours. So if you're working that plan, that's what you gotta do, all right? Let's go ahead and get this unwrapped and let's chop into it. What do you say? Let's go. Guys, by the way, this smells outstanding right now. Getting it, baby, getting it. Let's go. Let's get this unwrapped. I got one glove that's lined up right here, so it's gonna handle the heat of everything. This other glove is just to kind of keep it clean. You can see the juices chilling in there, that butter. Oh yeah, looking good, guys, looking good. Let's get this out on the cutting board. Look at it running off, baby, running off. Let's keep those juices contained over there. Take our temp spikes out. I'm gonna go ahead and take the skin off. Look at that beautiful color in there. Plenty of seasoning. I love it. Got flavor galore. And you know what I like to do is we'll dry that out and eat it, but you got all that flavor on there. Go ahead and put it on the freaking turkey. What do you say? So we got the backbone right here. I got a nice sharp Dalstrong knife, and we'll just run down that bone, okay? So you got the backbone right here. Just run down it, okay? If you want to use a bigger knife for this, you can, but for me, fillet knife hitting here works out perfect for me. So it's a beautiful hunk of meat, just like your boy. Look at that, just juicy goodness. Oh yeah, we'll save the taste test for later, but I just snuck a taste and it's delicious. Look how beautiful that came out, and you can tell how juicy it is. Like, it's just dripping off my hand. There you go. And I'm not squeezing, that's just gravity taking effect right there. We got 2 beautiful breasts, gorgeous. All right, let's get these sliced up and give them a try. Although we already did try them. Look at that bite right there, full of flavor. So another thing I want to show you is the grain of the meat is going this way, so we're going to slice it back this way. So it's just like the principle of any other, you know, carving a meat. You want to go against the grain for the most tender of the bites. All right, so we're going to give some good slices right there against the grain, like we said. Now I'm doing pretty thick slices right here, just kind of for the picture. But that other one I'm gonna slice up pretty thin for sandwiches. And then obviously this one will be chunked up for sandwiches too. Just have some thicker slices to it. Some gorgeous color there, guys. Beautiful, juicy. Look at the juice trough on the cutting board. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish this up and we'll take a taste test. You guys know I already took a small bite. You know, when it's sitting there in that butter and the juices, you gotta do it. Even while you're cutting, got a snack, but I got a little piece right here. All right, it's phenomenal. All right, there's no better way to do it. And you know it's natural. It's not some pressed crap you're gonna get in the grocery store in the deli. All right, this is some straight up good, fresh smoked turkey breast. You controlled the seasoning. You controlled the flavor. You got that good smoke in there. Got a little bit of spice, a little Creole kick, a little Cajun vibe from the seasonings and the butter we used. But guys, you can use regular butter, you can use herbs, you can use salt, pepper, and garlic if you want. Use whatever you want, okay? Just cook to the parameters that I show you guys. You'll have juicy turkey breasts every time. People overthink cooking and you don't need to. You know the basics and the nuances and all that stuff, you guys are gonna have a killer turkey. Once it hits that 155 in that thickest part of the breast, you're golden, right? Pull it out, wrap it, tint it, whatever you wanna do, let it rest. Those temperatures will come up. Okay, that carryover heat is a real thing. And then it lets all those juices chill out, redistribute, give you that nice juicy turkey breast, okay? So, believe me now, hear me later, okay? Do it, do it, do it. Do it. Do it. We're gonna do some smoked, then smothered turkey wings. I'm gonna smoke my turkey wings using my Ninja Woodfire XL. But guys, any smoker you got, whether it's like a stick burner, Weber kettle, you know, pellet grill, whatever will work, okay? Just get those wings smoked. And I know there's an option you could buy smoked turkey wings at the grocery store. So if you don't have a smoker option, go ahead and go with that. Y'all, what we had to do to prepare this one is get our wings set up. Now this is about 6 pounds worth of turkey wings. The wings came fully attached, all right? So it has the drum, the flat, and the little flapper. So we're gonna take time to break these wings down. First thing we do is we got a big old knife. Mine just happens to be from Dalstrong, so if you wanna check it out, I'll put a link down below for it. Guys, a big old, you know, kind of half cleaver knife, real heavy. Chopped off the flappers, right? And then we took the drum and the flat and broke them down, busted up that joint. Do that, you break them, move them around a little bit. It helps make it a lot easier to chop through them without having to just straight cleaver them. Did that on all the wings. I believe there were 7. I had 2 packs. There were 7, 3 in one, 4 in the other. We got them seasoned up. All right, I'm using a little poultry seasoning that I get from the market. So whatever poultry seasoning you like, go for it. And then I got a little Cajun seasoning, little Bizelles. Again, whatever seasonings you like to use, knock yourself out. Just make sure they're seasoned, okay? Seasoning goes a long way. A lot of people are scared of it, but you don't have to be. I covered these bad boys up real well. The last thing I did was got my Temp Spike Plus into one of the thickest drums of these wings. We're gonna smoke these until they get to about 170 internal, and I chose the thickest wing to get us where we wanna be. Once we smoke them, we're gonna get them into a pan, a little half sheet pan. I'm using a tinfoil pan in my XL, but if you guys have the original Woodfire Grill, get yourself a little 8x8 Pyrex pan or a little 8x8 tinfoil pan that you can throw out, and then, you know, half this amount of wings in there. We're gonna get these wings smoking with little Bear Mountain pellets. Now guys, I teamed up with Bear Mountain Premium Woods and Pellets. Okay, so I'm, you know, part of their team now. I figured I use my Woodfire so much, and those Ninja pellets are actually made by Bear Mountain. So it made sense to team up with such a great company that are already partnered up with Ninja, who I'm working with. Right, so it all worked out in the end. Got a nice big box. They sent me out some barbecue pellets, some cherry pellets, and then some apple and cherry wood chunks, right, to use in my kettles or whatever else I'm smoking with. So you guys will be seeing a lot more of Bear Mountain Premium Woods on my channel, and I'll have a link down below for them. Okay, it's not an affiliate link, it's just a link to their site, but great company, glad to be partnered with them, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're using the cherry wood pellets in there. Gonna add a great color and a great flavor to it. But nothing left to do but get this bad boy fired up. This is also part of Soul Food Sunday. Every year I get together with some of my guys, AB and from Smokin and Grilling AB, and then Soul Food Cooking channel here on YouTube. And about this time every year we do Soul Food Sundays. So click on that hashtag Soul Food Sunday and you'll get to see all the videos we've made over the years. There are tons and tons of them, and just check it out. let's go ahead and get this bad boy fired up. I've talked long enough. All right, guys, come on back. All right, we got our grill plate in there. That's what we're gonna lay our turkey wings on. Let's go ahead and shut this down. Pellets are in there. I told you that already. Let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on. We're gonna go, oh, turn it on. Says hello. Well, hello. Welcome to my backyard. We're gonna go to the smoker setting. Gonna turn it up to 325 degrees. The defaulted 2-hour time is good. The wood fire flavor flame is already lit. We're gonna hit start. Let it go through the ignition process, and then we'll get our wings on. Get them smoked. Smoke is rolling, team. Let's go ahead and get our wings on. I have plenty of room for wings on this XL, but if you guys are just using the regular wood fire, then use a little bit less wings for sure. Get them all that good smoke. Oh, hush. I'll shut the lid when I'm damn good and ready. May have to do a little Tetrising in there, but that's all right. Give them a little bit of room. Got our Temp Spike Plus in this bad boy right here. And if that ain't a chorus line of flavor, I don't know what the hell it is. Let's go. Let's get these bad boys smoked up. Shut it down. We'll see you when they hit 170. As our wings are smoking, now it's time to go make that gravy that we're gonna smother over the top. And then we'll finish in the wood fire. Simple gravy. We're gonna create a roux with a little bit of butter, a little bit of flour. Right, I got some onions and bell peppers in there. Then we got some turkey stock. We're gonna whisk it all together. Get your seasonings in there. We're gonna keep the poultry seasoning and the Cajun seasoning in there. All right, get it nice and mixed up and thickened. We'll set it aside, and once these are done, throw that gravy over the top with those onions and peppers in there. Finish off the braise in that wood fire. Guys, simple. It's gonna be amazing. I got some mashed potatoes we're gonna put it with. Too damn good. Do not miss this one. Ooh. You're gonna want to try this because I've had this before, I've done this before, and you smoke it and smother it, guys, I would say it's money in the bank. All right, stick around. Guys, the wings are done smoking. They look fabulous. Got a nice dark color to them. Nice smoke penetration, right? Time to get them into a tin foil pan here. We're not gonna put all of them in there. I'm saving some for stock. Okay, so I'm gonna use the smoked wings for a turkey stock, which may or may not be a video later, probably a short. It's not gonna take very long. During the holiday time, I love making my own stock. So I'll use these smoked wings. I'll use the wing tips that we already cut off, and it helps bring together a nice, beautiful stock. So be on the lookout for that one. All right, let's get these bad boys out and get them in that pan. We'll pour the gravy over, get them back in for a little bit. We're good to go. Guys, gravy's on. Pan's going, we're good to go. We're gonna let these go for another hour. So it took about 40 minutes to get those wings up to temp. They temped out about 170 to 180 in there. You know, the flats are a little bit, you know, they cook a little bit faster. At this point, since they're actually cooked all the way through, we're not gonna be paying attention to internal temps anymore. Now it's just about letting them sit in that good gravy, letting them braise for a little bit, get nice and tender. I left it on the smoker setting. If you wanted to, at this point, you could throw them in the oven in the house, okay, if you don't want to mess with the barbecue outside anymore. But I figured it's on, I'm gonna leave it going, right? So, like I said, another hour of just braising, chilling. I'll take a look at it about halfway through, but really, we're just gonna leave it. If you're looking, you ain't cooking. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, this is good stuff. I hope you're enjoying it thus far. I know I'm gonna enjoy it when it's done, baby. All right, come on back. Y'all, wings are done, guys. They look beautiful. I just marvel at myself sometimes when I make these beautiful dishes. Now these smothered turkey wings are gonna be amazing. I'm gonna get them inside. Now I said I was gonna do some mashed potatoes with them, but I decided I want to do a little rice. I think the rice and the gravy go pretty dang well together. So let's go ahead and get that plated up inside. We'll take a bite. We'll take a couple pictures for the gram, and you'll see how amazing it is. All right, come on back. We're done. Guys, we've made it to the finish line. Took a little bit of time. Altogether, this took about 2 hours with like prep, smoking it, and then braising it in that gravy. But time well spent. Go ahead and grab a little bite, cut into it, show how tender it is. Guys, I'm using a knife just to get a clean cut, but you know, this is fork tender, baby. So, got a little bite with some rice, got our turkey, got gravy. So good. Y'all, you're getting that smoke, you're getting that good seasoning. That gravy is amazing with the onions and the peppers in it. Guys, wouldn't change a dang thing on this one. Now, baked ham ain't got nothing on this one. That's right, guys. We're putting a big old spiraled ham on our Ninja Woodfire today. Gonna give it some of that good smoking pecan pellet smoke. And we know we added tons of flavor to it. So guys, you ain't gonna wanna miss this one. And this is how you're gonna wanna do your Easter ham. Trust me. And you know, your random Tuesday ham too, you're gonna wanna do this way. All right, so there, all right. So first things first, let's address the fact that this ham is huge. It's over 10 pounds. So when I came outside to do a little test fitting, and I'm using my XL here, okay? So keep that in mind. It didn't shut. So I put the ham in there, had the packaging, you know, all around it, so nothing's, you know, cross-contaminating or whatever, but I put it in there, it would not fit. So what do we have to do? We had to take it in the house, get it out of the packaging, dry it off, all that good stuff. And then we had to do a little surgery on it. We turned it over to the bottom side of the ham shank there and chopped off about, I say, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, depending on the level of it. So we got that done. And being that it's already a spiral cut ham, it, you know, kind of caused it to, you know, kind of flop over. So that helps with the leveling height in there. So now it should fit. I haven't tested it out yet. We're going to do this together, but it should fit. To get the ham ready to be on that grill, besides trimming it up, we got to give it a little extra flavor, right? Right. So we used a little Mike's Hot Honey for a binder, so I rubbed that all over, got it in some of the sliced out spots there. We're putting flavor all the way through it, right? Then we're using some Cosmo's honey pecan rub and some honey killer bee. So we're going for a nice sweet barbecue flavor, right? That's what we use for those. Okay, got them all over. I got it in between the slices. So, you know, we're putting the flavor all the way through it. I know a lot of people, when they got their honey baked hams, you know, they just got that, you know, coverage on the outside, but nothing's getting in the slices, right? So this is what we did. We spread them out, and we got some of that seasoning in between the slices too. Now, once this comes up to temperature, we're gonna give it a nice base. I'm using this stuff from Cosmos Q, since we're keeping with that theme of using Cosmos stuff. They got some apple butter. All right, so this is a product they have on their website. I'm gonna melt that in the microwave, and then we're just gonna pour some over the top like a glaze. If you do not have this apple butter, heat up some apple juice in a saucepan, add some butter to it, add some honey to it, get it so it reduces a little bit, becomes a little syrupy. So you heat it up enough so some of that water evaporates in that apple juice, and it will help make it a little bit more of a glaze. And then that's it. Once we give it some time for that glaze to set up, that apple butter to set up on there, we'll be ready to pull it off and we can give it a try. Shouldn't be too hard, right? I hope you're keeping along with me. If you're here with me this far, do me a favor, consider subscribing, hitting that thumbs up, all that good YouTube stuff. Comment down below how you like to do your Easter hams or what your family does on Easter, right? Let's talk about it. All right, y'all, nothing left to do but get this thing fired up. We're using Smokin pecan pellets today. Those are the pellets made of pecan shells. They burn really clean, burn for a long time, give plenty of good smoke. I like using them on these big cooks like this. So it's gonna add tons of flavor and tons of smoke to our ham right there. Let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. Coming down here. We're gonna turn this bad boy on. Hello, how are you doing? Take it to the smoker mode. 275 is good. The 2 hours is fine. That'll take us where we wanna be. The wood fire flavor button's already lit. So let's hit start. Guys, in case I forgot to mention it, we are gonna do this at 275, and I'll put the Celsius here somewhere, right? And we're gonna do it for about an hour. This thing is fully cooked. We don't need to cook it to some internal temperature. I figure at an hour at 275 should take it to where it's warmed all the way through. Plenty of time to get the smoke and the heat that it needs. I'll use my instant read, so shoot for 150, 160. That way we know it's heated all the way through in the middle. But other than that, we're not really kind of cooking the temperatures on this one. Figure an hour should be enough, especially it's had time to sit out for a little bit and come up with the temp a little bit. Not straight out of the refrigerator, right? Right. We're gonna wait for that smoke to start rolling, get that ham on, that much closer to eating it. You know what I'm saying? Right, smoke is rolling, baby. Look at that. Time to get this beast on. I got me a big old spatula. Everybody always asks about this. It was given to me by a pellet company that I work with. I'll try to find one online, but no guarantees. All right, get that bad boy on there. Looking good. Shut her down. All right, y'all. It's been actually an hour and 20 minutes or so. We got a temp out here, 160, good enough for me. So we have our apple butter here from Cosmos. We've heated it up. Now we're just gonna pour some on. And we got a little basting brush here. Just brush it over. Try to get it in the cracks a little bit, in between the slices. Give it all a good painting. Give it a little bit more. All right, we're using the whole shebang on this. Now this apple butter is gonna melt in between into the slices here. It's gonna melt onto the grill underneath, flavor it a little bit in there too. So we're gonna shut this down and give it another 20 minutes, give or take. Set that butter up, be good to go, baby. Right, y'all, time to take a look. Wow, look at that, guys. Get you a little closer in here. Beautiful colors. The apple butter looks amazing on there. Let's go ahead and get this thing off and we'll try a bite. Guys, it's looking too dang good. Whew. Done and done, everybody. We got the ham out of there. Got all the pictures taken for the gram, for the thumbnail, all that stuff. We got a little bite right here. Nice piece of gorgeous ham. Yeah, babe. Man, it's too damn good. Got just a magical bite right there, guys. We're gonna double smoke a ham today. We're gonna do it on the Ninja Woodfire XL. All right, guys, but you can do this on whatever woodfire grill or oven you have. Just follow the same steps, okay? Now, why are we double smoking this? Well, the Carver ham we bought is already smoked. It's applewood smoked, okay? So we're gonna give it the second smoke using our Woodfire grill. Guys, this is just a little Carver ham from Costco. It's a little more than 5 pounds. We're gonna use the instructions on the back of the packaging with a little caveat there. We're gonna drop the temperature. It calls for 350. I'm gonna set it up for 300. Being that this is such a condensed spacing, I wanna make sure that it gets, not too much heat. Guys, I already set up the ham in the house real quick. I just scored the top, crosshatch style, okay? Got a really sharp knife to slice through the fat, through some of the meat too. And then we use a little honey as a binder for the rub we're gonna use. Now that rub is a sweet dessert shake by Uncle Steve's Shake. I like the idea of like a honey baked ham, and I love that sugary crystallized, brulee type crust for the honey baked ham. So we're gonna use a little Uncle Steve's Shake, that dessert shake, to kind of mimic that. With the honey, with that sweet rub, it'll have that nice crust on the outside, okay? I'm not gonna try to brulee it afterwards. I'm just gonna let the heat from the grill do the work, right? But we're also going to make a little pineapple glaze, probably the simplest pineapple glaze you'll ever make. I have a can of pineapple that we're gonna pour the juice out of. Gonna throw a little honey in there and a little bit of that dessert shake, and just let that reduce a little bit, and then we'll use that as our glaze on the top. If you guys do not have that dessert shake, a little cinnamon, a little sugar, a little bit of salt, mix all that together, and you'll have a, somewhat of a basis of what I'm looking for, okay? This is a really simple setup, a really simple recipe. Like I said, we're gonna go off the instructions. We're gonna take it to, it says take it to the internal 130. I'm gonna use my instant read thermometer to check that. It says 30 minutes for each pound. So I'm gonna set it up for about 3 hours in there. All right, so it's a 5 pound roast, 30 minutes. Do the quick math, 2 hours and then a half. And then there's a little bit of carryover because it's a little bit more than 5 pounds. So we're gonna set it for 3 hours, okay? And then we'll just check on it periodically. After that first hour, when all that smoke hits it, we're gonna go ahead and start basting with that glaze, and we'll do that every half hour or so. So we're gonna build up that outside, all that good flavor on the outside of the ham. And by the time it's done, we'll slice it up. It'll be wonderful. As far as pellets go in this thing, we're using Jack's by Jealous Devil. It's a blend. I'll put a link down below for it to the Amazon. Guys, any food safe pellets work just fine. Don't overthink your pellets. These are ones that I happen to be using. Everybody wants to know what I use, so that's what I've been using. One box will last you for a lifetime with this with these wood fire grills. All right, so nothing left to do but except get this thing fired up, get that smoke rolling. Let's go and get over here and get set up. Come on back. We have our grill plate in there. We're gonna set the ham on top of that. Can't fire it up without having it in there, so we'll let it go through the ignition process and then get the ham in. So shut that down. There you go. Hit the start button. Hello. Mode. Go to smoker setting. Temp 300. One more. There we go. Timing. Go to 3 hours. Probably won't need it all. Hit start. The countdown has begun. Smoke is smoking. Better get this bad boy on. What do you say? Oh, it's a beast. You're too good. All right, shut this down. Get that smoke on it, baby. All right, everybody, ham is on and it wants all the smoke, so we're gonna give it to them. Now we're gonna go inside the house and start putting that glaze together. Again, the most simple glaze you'll ever make. I'll have the ingredients for it down below and you'll get to see the prep inside. Let's go. Y'all, it's time to make that glaze. We got our Uncle Steve's dessert shake. Now, like I said, if you don't have this, but there will be a link down below. My guy, Uncle Steve's the best. If you do not have this, cinnamon, sugar, and salt, pretty much all equal parts. They go in with a couple tablespoons of this stuff, the dessert shake. Gonna go in with, I got a can of pineapple here. It's a 20-ounce can. We just want the juice out of there. It's 100% pineapple juice. We're gonna let it reduce in there. So we're gonna just dump out all those. We should get all that juice out. They go in with about a tablespoon of honey. Simplest glaze you'll ever see, for sure. And if you want to spice this up, which a lot of people do, crushed red pepper flakes, and you got yourself something right there. Okay, so we got a whisk here. We're gonna whisk it all, get that dessert shake dissolved. We got this on a medium heat, and we're just gonna let it reduce until it's a thick syrup. All right, everybody, we're about an hour in, give or take. That is a gorgeous looking ham right there. Let's bring you in for a close-up. See that scoring the top of that ham right there opens it up and will let us get some more of that glaze and that seasoning and the smoke in there. And our nice simple glaze in there. Beautiful, it's luscious, lovely. Some of that glaze on, just brush it on. We're gonna do this a couple times. It's just gonna get in those nooks and crannies, add all that good flavor. Should we brush it on the front there? Grill grate's gonna get nice and sticky. Just know it, they're easy to clean. Don't stress. Now I'm keeping my glaze warm on the stove inside the house. Not reducing it anymore, it's properly reduced. Oh, that looks amazing. That is just some gorgeous color right there, guys. Whew. And go get the glaze back on the stove. We'll shut this down, we'll come back in another half hour. You know what, while we're here, let's go ahead and take the temps. Guys, it said 130 in the thickest part. Let's take a look. 93, we got some time. We'll give it another half hour. We'll come out and give it a little bit more glaze, and we'll check the temps again. We're about an hour and a half in. I've gone ahead and glazed it up a couple times. Didn't really feel like I needed to videotape every time I glazed up the thing, you know, just brush it on, you know, that's it. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. I think we're coming up to temperature. I checked it after my last little brush down, and it was about 120, so I think we're about there. Like I said, it took about an hour and a half, so take that for what it's worth. We're only trying to get this to about 130 internal temperature, okay? So it's an already cooked ham, so we didn't need to recook it. We gave it plenty of smoke. It's got tons of flavor with that sweet rub we put on the outside, and then with that glaze we put on there, it's a beautiful dark mahogany color. It's gorgeous. Go ahead and take a look. We'll take one last temp. We should be ready to roll. All right, let's get down there. All right, there she is, boys and girls. Look at that color. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Dark spots. It's okay. That's just that sweetness getting a little caramelized. Oh, it's gorgeous, guys, gorgeous. We'll get in there and take a quick temp. I don't know if we can see that. 137 in the thickest part. Good to go. Nothing left to do but get this out on a cutting board and start carving into it. Slicing knife here. We got our cutting board. Got me a little spatula and some tongs so we can get this thing off without having to making a mess. Oh, there you go. Love it. I went ahead and turned off the XL grill here. Whew, that looks amazing, guys. Let's start slicing into it. What do you say? I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down to get a little more manageable slices. So this looks like a good joint to cut off right there, like that. That is a big slice to get started. Sneak that one for me. Oh, that's too good, boys and girls. Let's try it. Well, I just tried a bite, but let's try another one. Guys, I got me a little bite right here. I just had one off camera. Well, you can probably hear me munch on it, but dude, so flipping good. I'm gonna show you how to make a beautiful prime rib roast on our Ninja Woodfire Grill. And we're throwing a couple baked potatoes in there with it. Stick around. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cooking with CJ. I'm CJ. Welcome to my backyard. So glad you're here. Guys, we got a nice, wonderful dish for you today. We have a beautiful prime rib roast, and we're putting it on the Ninja Woodfire Grill. We're also throwing a few baked potatoes on there because we got the room, and who doesn't love some meat and potatoes, right? All right, so what we've done so far is I'll have to take you back to last night. We had to prep this roast. So this is about a 6-pound, 2-bone roast, okay? Now I went ahead and sliced the bones off because with the height restrictions that we have in the Woodfire Grill, it was a little too thick on there, right? The best thing for us to do was slice off the bones, right? And we'll cook those, we'll season them up, we'll put them aside. But the next thing we got to do is take off that heavy duty fat and silver skin on the top of the roast. So that's what I've already done that. I already sliced that off, put it to the side. So what we have here are 3 separate spots here. We got our trimmings, the bones, and the actual roast. The next step we're going to do is season this roast. We have a simple blend of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a little dried rosemary. Got that all mixed up and then sprinkled all over the roast, okay? And I liberally season this roast all the way around, side, back, front, side to side, dipping low. Anyway, so we got it nice and seasoned up, and then we put it in the refrigerator overnight, uncovered, let it dry brine is what you call it, and just let all those seasonings pull out the moisture and soak in the flavor, okay? And that brings us out here today. We're gonna get this thing fired up. We're gonna get it on the Woodfire Grill. I got a couple baked potatoes we're throwing on there because we got the room. So I'm gonna show you how we set that up too. We're going to smoke these at 250, about 120, 125 internal in the thickest part. I'm gonna pull it off, let it rest, call it a day. With checking these temperatures, I have my Temp Spike Bluetooth thermometer, wireless thermometer in there. All right, so I'll be tracking it from my phone, and we'll make sure these are done to perfection, okay? If you guys want a link to the wireless thermometer, that Temp Spike, I'll have a link down below. There's a coupon code on there, save you a little bit of cash. Other than that, we're ready to roll, okay? Before we get that wood fire fired up, I need you guys to hit that red subscribe button, that bell next to it, so you get alerts on all what we're doing here. Why don't you hit that thumbs up too, and comment down below and say hi to CJ down below. All right, come on back. Time to get the potatoes prepped in there. I'm gonna take out our anger issues on them with a fork, give them a couple pops, get them greased up with a little of that olive oil. Give it a nice rub down. I'm gonna take our kosher salt, get them nice and seasoned up. Let's get those pellets in. Get Get that roast on. Get those baked potatoes on. Shut that bad boy down. We're turning to the smoker setting. We're going 250. Hit start. Get that wood fire flavor flowing. All right, team, it's nothing but a waiting game right now. We'll let this, like I said, go to about 120, 125 internal. We'll let it rest for a good 20, 30 minutes, covered in tin foil. I'm not gonna do any kind of sear on this. We're just going for a nice smoked roast, okay? But when we pull it off, the resting period is all we gotta do. We'll slice into it, it'll be money. And those potatoes will be done right about the same time, okay? Those potatoes are, you know, cooking kind of low and slow right along with that roast. So if I plan this out right, and that's a big if, we should be good to go, all right? Be able to cut in those potatoes, have a nice baked potato with a nice slab of prime rib, baby. All right, stick around. That smoke is rolling, let's go. Get that roast off. Gonna let it take a little nap. All right, time to slice into this hunk of meat. Take a look. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Gorgeous. Got our perfectly baked potatoes on there too. And of course, don't forget your salad. All right, team, we're done. This smells amazing, looks amazing. I'm gonna tell you right now, before I even tried it, it's amazing. Make sure you guys give us a try. Right now, I cut off a little bit of the rib cap, the spinalis. You know what's my favorite part? So good. Get some of that baked potato. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be making a smoked sweet potato pecan pie today. It's in time for the holidays. We're gonna be using my favorite pecans today from the Pecan Pantry. All right, and I'll have a link down below for those guys. But real quick, let me thank this week's sponsor, BetterHelp, but more on them later. All right, y'all, this is gonna be an easy recipe. Gonna have a few ingredients and I'll have them all listed down below. Basically, we're putting everything in a bowl, topping it with some candied pecans, and getting it out on that wood fire. And of course, with the pellets we're gonna use on that wood fire grill today, we're gonna use some of those Smokin pecan pellets. The team from Smokin pecan pellets are the team from the Pecan Pantry. So we're you know, cross using their products today, and it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna make a nice, easy sweet potato custard type thing to go in there. And then we're gonna add a bunch of goodies to the cup of pecans. Now I just did some smoked candy pecans, and I'll put the link for that video up there. You'll definitely want to check that out. If you could do these pecans in advance like that and then put them on the pie, it'd be solid. But basically, I'm just gonna do the mix for it in a bowl real quick, and then we'll place them around the pie itself here. It's gonna be good eats. You're gonna love this one. Hit that thumbs up, right? Now let's get down here and start working on that sweet potato custard mix in there. But before we get started on the custard mix here real quick, y'all, I just dropped Woodfire Grill Holiday Cookbook. This cookbook comes with a bunch of new recipes for that wood fire and, you know, a few of the old standards, the old favorites, right? I suggest you check it out. Links down below. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, buy my 4 e-cookbook bundle. All the cookbooks are e-cookbooks. They're downloadable, $5. If you get that bundle, it's $15. So, guys, great value. Lots of good feedback on it. So check it out. All right. Let's make this custard mix right now. We're gonna go in with 1 can of these sweet potato cut yams, okay? I've already drained the syrup off of them. You don't really need that. We got 1 egg going in, 2 tablespoons of melted butter, about 1/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream, give or take. Here's where we're gonna add our sweetness. We got some of that Jet Puff marshmallow cream. Most people put their marshmallow on top, but for me, I like to mix it in. This stuff is sticky. We use close to a whole container. It's 7 ounces. Then I got some real vanilla here, but if you have extract, go for it. And we're just gonna add just a little dash. Measure vanilla with your heart, like my wife always says. Got our little beater here. Gonna take this stuff, give it a beat down. Just make sure you mix to combine everything. Start off slow. Really break down those sweet potatoes. You're gonna beat this for about 2 minutes. Make sure everything's nice and incorporated, broken down, smoothed out. Okay, there's the consistency you're looking for. Let's go ahead and get it in that pie shell. Got our pecan shell. Okay, so this is a pie crust made of crushed pecans. So we're gonna have a nice symmetry between the crust and the topping. We're just gonna pour our mix in there. Make sure you get all the good stuff on the sides. Just smooth it on out. All the way to the edges. Beautiful. All right, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's get those pecans dressed up and we'll get them on top. We got about a cup of pecans in there, give or take. I'm gonna go ahead and candy these up a little bit. We got a little maple syrup going in. It's about 1/4 of a cup, just so it coats it all. We're going in with a little hot honey. This is optional, but I like a little spice in there with all that sweetness. So about a teaspoon or so. And of course, we got our Uncle Steve's Sweet Dessert Shake. This stuff is great on anything, but if you do not have this, just cinnamon and sugar, how you dig it. If you want more sugar than cinnamon, or vice versa. But this has every bit of flavor I want in there, and it's great on these candy pecans. So we're gonna do about roughly a tablespoon of that stuff too, just to get these nice and coated. All we're gonna do is just give these a mix and make sure every one of them is coated with all that goodness, sweetness. And those are looking beautiful. All right, let's get them on that pie. Now I'm gonna do kind of a layer on the outside here, maybe a little bit in the middle, but I kind of want to show the sweet potato on there too. This is gonna be a little tedious, so I'm not gonna try to film the whole thing, but you get the gist. We're going all the way around with it. Yeah, we got the pie done. We got it nice and decorated as best as your boy can do. Listen, I'm not a baker by any means, shape, or form. Basically, we're using the smoking pecan pellets in there, right? Of course. I have the grill grate in the wood fire grill, but you know, if you have the griddle plate, whatever works, you're putting the pie on top. It's not a big deal. We're gonna set that temperature to the smoker setting, 325 Fahrenheit, and I'll put the Celsius on the screen too. We're gonna hit start. Let it go through the ignition process to get that smoke rolling. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our pie in there. 30 minutes and it'll be done. Once that 30 minutes is up, it'll look gorgeous. You'll see. And we're gonna let it set for a little bit and we'll get it in the fridge. I'm not looking for a warm pie here. You know, I want it cooked all the way through, but we're gonna eat it cold. So we're gonna set it in the fridge for a little bit and then I'll meet you back here in the studio for a bite. All right, let's go outside. All right, we got our smoky boy going. You can hear the wind blowing. All right, we caught it right on time. Our pie is done. Nice and smoky in there. Got that gorgeous color. Dig it, baby, dig it. All right, let's get this in the fridge and then we'll get it back in the studio. Back in the house, we let this cool off in the fridge. So now it's time to cut us a little piece of the goodness. I'm gonna make sure you get through all that pecan crust down at the bottom. Got a healthy piece. Guys, there's our sweet potato pecan pie. Look at that gorgeous candified pecans on top. All right, let's get on a plate here. And you know, get a little Ready Whip on there. Now, if it were me and not trying to take a picture for the gram and all that good stuff, this whole thing would just be covered in whipped cream. But we're gonna show some restraint. All right, let's get a bite. This was too easy. Okay, throw some ingredients in a bowl, throw in a pie shell, good to go. Ingredients and prep are down below. We got ourselves a bite right here. Of course, we got the whipped cream on there. All good. Like, there's just nothing you're not gonna like about this. All right, cheers, y'all. We're getting our already peeled potatoes quartered up. Try to get them as evenly sized as possible and then get them back in the water so they don't oxidize. I'm assuming y'all know how to peel potatoes by now, so I'm not trying to show you how to do that. If you don't know how to peel potatoes by now, I'm sure there's a YouTube video on it. You can check it out. I have about 4 pounds of potatoes here. We're gonna throw our cut up potatoes in a pot. We're gonna bring it up to a boil with the potatoes in it. Don't just drop them in boiling water. You wanna bring these up with the boil, okay? About 20-ish minutes. You wanna make sure the potatoes are fork tender. So you're gonna put a fork through it, and if it gives, you're good to go. I'll see you in a second. Go ahead and get those potatoes in. Try not to splash all over the place. Just a couple at a time. Last little bit. All right, that's 2 cups of heavy cream. 4 ounces of butter, salted butter. Little thyme sprigs going in. Little rosemary going in. Got 4 cloves of garlic here. Pretty healthy size. Throw them all in. The butter's salted, but just a little extra kiss of salt never hurt anybody. The potatoes are gonna absorb all this up. We're gonna let this simmer, okay? It doesn't matter if there's paper on the garlic cloves or anything like that. We're gonna strain this out before we put it over the potatoes, okay? All right, we're gonna get our cream mix here. We're gonna turn it on low. We just wanna bring it up to a nice little simmer. Make sure all that goodness gets to know each other in there. All right. So we're gonna throw it back in the pot and let it dry out a little bit. And then we'll get it mashed up. So this right here is the secret to velvety smooth potatoes, right? We got a little ricer. We got the smallest little die cut in there. So the potatoes get as mashed as possible in there. And I don't know if I said this before, but I'm using Yukon Gold potatoes. Okay. I find these make for a smoother potato. And all we're going to do is squeeze it on out. Whoa. All right, and just rinse and repeat. Our potatoes all mashed up right through the ricer. Now it's time we add our little cream, butter, herb, garlic goodness. And then just fold it on in. Do not beat the hell out of these potatoes. These are going to be creamy and dreamy. It looks like a lot. These are not the healthy mashed potatoes. These are not on the diet plan, but since this is for the holidays, calories don't count in the holidays. The potatoes will absorb all that cream and butter and goodness, and you'll have a nice silky smooth potato. Now is the time to give it a little taste. Make sure you got your seasonings right. All right. It needs some salt and some pepper, okay? Don't forget to taste your food, okay? Now, I know we put some salt and some pepper in that cream, and the butter was salted, but since these potatoes are so bland, you need to make sure you're adjusting the seasoning as you go, okay? And we're also gonna top this with some more butter, because, you know, why the hell not? Now just mix this all together a little bit more. Get that salt going in there. All right, one more taste. Perfect. Let's plate this up. Got a little butter going in, because why the hell not? Little chives. Finish it off with a little black pepper. Guys, these are rich, creamy, full of flavor. Again, just like your boy. You're definitely going to want to make these for the holidays because you know they're good, baby. I know you're looking for things to do with your Thanksgiving leftovers, and your boy CJ's got you covered. We're doing Thanksgiving leftover sliders. Now I'm zhuzhing it up with a little pepper jack. Now don't forget, with these fancy cheeses, it comes with paper in the middle. Don't cook that paper, y'all. Now for me, the pepper jack just adds a little extra kick to all these kind of normal Thanksgiving flavors. Now I'm throwing in my leftover turkey breast. Now you can tell it's leftover because it's in that Ziploc bag straight from the fridge. I actually smoked this turkey breast with a ton of that Cajun butter and seasoning, but you can use whatever turkey you have left over. You're gonna want to pile on that turkey pretty high. Make sure you got all the corners covered. And if you're the type that makes a ham on Thanksgiving, go ahead and throw those slices on there too. There isn't anything wrong with adding 2 meats on here. Little turkey, little ham, perfection. Now I'm throwing a little olive oil on my turkey because no matter how much butter you cook it in or how much love you show it, it's still gonna be dry out of the refrigerator. Now I don't always make traditional mashed potatoes with my Thanksgiving meals. Sometimes we do fried, sometimes we do roasted. So I'm throwing on some fried potatoes that we made. Got them seasoned up real well too. So just adding more and more flavor with each layer here. Now it's time we throw on our stuffing. This is old family favorite, straight from my grandma Stouffer. It was made on a stove top, if you get what I'm saying here, real traditional like. Now, if you're one of those crazy people like that cranberry jelly sauce stuff, this would be the time to throw it on, but I tend to skip that stuff. Next up, we're gonna throw 4 more slices of that pepper jack cheese on there. But hey guys, if you want to mix it up and again, don't forget to throw off that paper and throw a different flavored cheese in there, go for it. Now it's time to crown our beast. Of course, a couple are going to fall off, but that's all right. Just push them back on there. As that cheese melts, it'll hold the top on and you won't have to worry with your sliders falling apart, even though we're going to cut them in the end. And last but not least, we're going to make a little garlic or butter to throw over the top, brush it on real nice. So we got some garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt, and throw in a little olive oil just to round out the flavor. Get that in the microwave for a few seconds and get it nice and melty and combined. You're going to want to brush that butter mix over the top of each and every one of those slider buns. It'll be nice and golden brown and lovely by the time we pull it out of the oven. Throw those sliders into a 350 oven for about 10-15 minutes until the cheese is nice and melty and everything else is warmed on through. Go ahead and pull those sliders out and start slicing in between with your really big long knife. I tell you what, I can't think of a better way to use your leftovers. Everybody will love these in the whole family. Trust me on that one. And on this one, I'm digging out that middle piece. Guys, look at all the goodness right in the middle of that beast. All right, y'all, let's get a bite of our slider right here. All the flavors of the holidays you love, minus cranberry sauce. I can't rock with that stuff. There you go. Cheers. Guys, so much flavor going on. Don't sleep on that pepper jack. Adds that certain little kick you need, all right? But you're all gonna wanna make this because baby, you know it's good. All right, guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I hope this helped you, do have the perfect Thanksgiving, right? But other than that, guys, if you'd like to become a show producer, like all these turkey and ham loving people scrolling in front of me right now, there are 2 ways to join up. Either you hit that Patreon link in my video description, or you hit that join button right next to the subscribe button, which you should already hit by now. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for cooking with CJ. Take care.